Hello, it's Friday. Can you believe you've made it through another week? It means it's been nearly 6 weeks since I've seen you, which feels like a really, really long time. It has been about 6 weeks. I'm still missing you lots and lots. So I said today that we'd have a story by Julia Donaldson. Don't forget, if you want to, you can watch any of the videos back as well. They're all on my YouTube channel, or you can go back through Clash Dodo and find the link. So they're all there for you to see. So today we've got a story by Julia Donaldson called The Snail and the Whale. And I bet lots of you have already read it before, or have heard it before at least. So she's the lady who wrote The Gruffalo, she wrote The Ugly Five, she wrote Tabby McTap, which we haven't shared yet, she wrote Tiddler. Oh, she's written so many stories, so many that I couldn't even name all of them right now. She's got Squash and a Squeeze, The Smartest Giant in Town. She's one of my favourite authors. This book's quite big, so I'm going to go back so you can see all of the pictures. And again, as I always like, we've got a rhyming book again. See if you can spot the rhyming words. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is the snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny sea snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put. But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, I've got it, I'll hitch a lift. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, Lift wanted around the world. She wants to go on an adventure. There's the whale. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, Come sail with me. Off they go. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. Oh, I'd love to go there now. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam around the whale and the snail on his tail. Very brave and done very well to hold on that long. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning, flashing and frightening, and the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves, the caves, and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, I feel so small. She is very small, isn't she, compared to the rest of the world? But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. Oh no, and this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Quick, off the sand, back to sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land, I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it," she cried, and she started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail, a snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," say the children, "it's leaving a trail." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale." These are the children running from school, fetching the fireman, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. Oh, so they read the message, now they know to help the whale. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back on the tail now. Oh, that was lucky. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "How time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral waves, and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of a humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. They're all crawling on now. There they are. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale. What a lovely story. Oh, look, they're all of her books there, you can see. My goodness, I wonder how many of those that you've read and heard. I know that we read a lot of them in school. That was a lovely story, and it makes me think that even something so tiny can make such a big difference. A bit like you, even though you're quite small at the moment, you can have a really big difference. So just things like staying at home and making sure you wash your hands is having a really big impact on everybody else. Still missing you lots, year one. So next week is going to be officially my last week at school with you, but I'm going to keep uploading everything, and I will let you know if anything happens with baby who's still inside. Don't forget you can go back and watch any of the videos if you want to. You can maybe watch your favourite one. Let me know which one's been your favourite so far. Nice to see you. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.